Welcome everyone to this question and answer video. Thought it'd be better to do a kind of a separate video instead of trying to do the questions at the end of the video. They seem a bit disruptive. So this is our first Attentive Mind question and answer video. So welcome. Let's get to it. And I do apologize for the latency of this. It's, I think it's been about 10 days since I've answered a question. That's only because I haven't been able to get around to doing this video, so I apologize. But the first question is, hey Nathan, I've got two questions, okay? During practice, whenever you ask that question about what am I get frozen. My attention gets away from breathing and from thoughts. Two, is that you mean by confused state, correct? Is that what you mean by the confused state? Correct me if I'm wrong, but I stay in that moment for a very short time, then either thoughts get back or I'm distracted by the environment, and then again I focus on my breath, and then the question about what am I arises again. That means the thinking returns. So how can I improve staying in that confused state? Or am I thinking too much about being there? And can practicing on my own help me with that thing? Well, yes, you are thinking too much about this. What happens with practice is that we start, when we ask what am I might ask you to move your attention towards what is it that's actually seeing this? What is it that's actually sitting here meditating? Thoughts just can't actually go there. There becomes this, there's a stopping point. It's almost like trying to think of infinity. You know, you can't imagine it. And then that moment, there's this moment of don't know, of what? And if we just stay there, there's no coming, there's no going, there's no God, there's no Buddha, there's no me, there's no you. There's just this. And then a thought will come, oh, this must be enlightenment. Oh, I've never felt this good before. Oh my gosh, and then you start going on a thing and try to make it into a concept. And that's okay, that's what the mind does. So your question about how do I stay more into this is a question of thinking. Let go of expectations. Don't try to look, what am I, and then try to stay anywhere, or try to be anything, or try to get some kind of specific experience that you want. You don't want it to be expectations. Just ask and stay. Whatever comes, let it come. Whatever goes, let it go. And yes, practice will help you see this more clearly. It becomes more second nature the more you practice this. So just practicing on your own or watching these videos are very useful, but of course I urge everyone to always practice on their own. But don't worry about staying there. Don't worry about trying to find some sort of specific experience. Only look. That is your only job. Look, what am I? And if you don't know, stay. But then if thought comes and you get distracted, okay, and come back. What sees that thought? Just keep turning the view back. What are you? All right, hope that helps. Second question. You said that we should ask this question about what am I while doing daily tasks, but then I'll be focusing on two things at the same time and maybe be absent. Maybe I'll be absent in the present, isn't it? Well, yeah, that is true. You don't want to go crazy doing this. I mean, you don't want to be too hard knocks about this. You ask, really what this practice, when I say, whatever you do, what am I? What am I? What am I? This is just a punctuation of our daily monotony, of busyness, struggle, life, worry. I need to do this, I need to do that. But what sees this? Okay, but then I got to go to work and I'm having a conversation, but who's having this conversation? Meditation isn't this, like I say, it never ends because we're always punctuating our life with the practice. We're always punctuating our life with what am I? What sees this? Like right now, you're watching this video. Now you can be involved and think you're a person and just be your normal self that you feel to be every day, or you can just look real quick as you're looking at my eyes, what are you? And then just and then we start talking and go back, and then you got to go work, and what am I going to do after work? And then you come back. What am I? We just come back to the practice. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, be here. What is this? And if you get lost, you get lost, and that's okay. And it will happen. That's called being a human being. So don't struggle so hard. Don't worry too much about what state you need to be in. Don't think too much about the practice. Just do it. And let it happen. You'll know by itself. You don't need someone to validate for you. You'll know it. Just ask the question. And then when thoughts come around, come back to it. What am I? What are you? And of course, if that doesn't help, if any of these questions, any of these answers don't help, let me know and I'll do it again or try to talk about it in a different way. Okay, so next question. This person has, I think, 2 questions. Okay. All right. I have a question. Have you ever considered doing a meditation on death, or have you ever personally done one? When you said find the you or the I immediately thought of the time that I nearly drowned and experienced 3 seconds of pure stillness and oneness before I was saved. Ever since that experience, I've been interested in the connection between spirituality and the life cycle. If you're not comfortable with this question, please ignore it. I thank you for another great meditation. It seems that every time I do one of these, I come away with more and more wisdom. Great. This is a continuation. Personally, I've experienced the best answer to the who are you question with this meditation. It sounds weird typing it out, but the rest portion I found profound peace when I stopped breathing. I'm a swimmer, so I can hold my breath for a good while, and it's just so relaxing. The stillness is my I. For me, the question is a trick question, since the more you think about the I, the further it moves from you, since you're distracted from the stillness. Meditating with eyes closed, holding my breath in silence is the second closest I've gotten to myself. Okay, so I guess the question here is, have I ever considered doing a death meditation? And then you're commenting on how you feel closer to yourself once you hold your breath. Well, there's a practice for holding the breath. It's called toga. And actually, there's many practices. If you know who Wim Hof is, he does this. He does this kind of intermittent hyperventilation and the breath hold, and then release, and then an intermittent hyperventilation and then breath hold. It can be really great. It can really show you a landscape of your mind that you were not aware, kind of like psychedelic drugs will do that to you. You could take a LSD or psilocybin, and this is not an endorsement to these, but practice at your own, do these at your own risk. But these will give you an insight into your mind that you may not have even considered. So a lot of people just kind of bounce off the project of meditation, and breathing techniques or psychedelics or anything kind of crazy like that will be a kind of a gateway to the meditative life. Now, that being said, with breathing, holding your breath, you don't want to have to feel like you're awake or closer to yourself, what you mean by that. And you don't want to have to hold your breath to be peaceful, right? Like, you really don't want it to be that I can only be peaceful once I hold my breath. So this practice is not about, you really want to be able to see clearly what you are before thinking arises. And there's no entity you there. There's no thing to be found. You just need to know what it is like to not be completely lost in thought all the time. Now, holding your breath can do that, but then you're going to have to rely on holding your breath or some sort of breathing technique to get there, and that's not going to help you. You want it to be there now as you watch this video. Do you know what your mind is right now? And this is why the practice I share is what it is because it is to give you the legs, give you the mindfulness muscle. It shows you your own strength of, or capacity or willingness and understanding of understanding what you are before this next thought arises. It's not spiritual. You don't need to worry about the spiritual stuff. You don't need to worry about any of that. Just practice. What sees this? What notices thinking? And if you don't understand, we go to the breathing and we stay with the breath. And we allow thinking to come and go as it pleases. And then we notice what sits in the middle of all of this. What is it that's breathing? What controls the breath? You may get bored with me saying the same thing over and over again, but it is the same thing over and over again. So don't worry about the connection between the life cycle and spirituality. Don't worry about any of that. It's not going to help you here. It's going to help your knowledge. You're going to think more, but that's not what we're doing. And if you have to hold your breath to stop thinking, great, but it won't help you either. Leave the breathing techniques alone. Or at least do them, but practice this way too. I urge you. Because if you can't see the selfless, the centerlessness of your experience right now, in this moment, then it won't last. It's like needing to stay high all the time to be happy. And you don't want to do that. Practice. You can be angry and awake. You can be lustful and awake. See? What sees all of it? That's what matters. I hope that helps. All right, next question. We're flying through these. All right, thank you. Please help us not notice monkey mind. Why do you want to not notice monkey mind? Why do you want to not notice monkey mind? And what would that even be like? See, the mind's going on, thinking. Like right now, you might be competing with two voices. My voice talking to you, and then the voice in your head saying, well, I don't really agree with that. Well, what does he actually mean by that? I'm not saying, well, I wonder if I'm going to eat for dinner. Oh, she's sexy. Boom. You know, there's two voices you're trying to pay attention to. Oh, wait, I got to pay attention again. This mind isn't something that needs to be ignored to be free from. It's like right now, there's sounds going around you right now. Maybe you have passing cars, you have all this constant sensory input. And let's say there's chirping birds outside your window. You don't ignore them. You're not like, just pay attention to this. It's, you kind of allow them to be there, but it's fine. You're paying attention to something else. It's not an ignoring. It's not a pushing away. You know, sometimes we'll do that if it's distracting, then we'll try to push it away, and our mind can feel that way, so we have this tendency to want to push our mind away. But that's the worst thing you can do. You don't want to ignore your thoughts. You don't want to ignore this monkey mind, because it's there. Trying to ignore your monkey mind and to calm it is like trying to take a hot flat iron and trying to smooth rough water with it. Just makes it worse. So we allow it. It's what Pungji, his name is Papaji. He says, whatever wants to arise, allow to arise. We let arise. Whatever wants to stay, we let stay. Whatever wants to go, we let go. That's the practice. Allow, 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 and rest. Don't ignore, don't push, don't welcome, don't cling. Because meditation, we allow, and I say this all the time during practice if you've been here, but as Shunryu Suzuki, Zen master, says, during meditation, we leave the front door and the back door of our minds completely open. We allow thoughts to come and go as they please. We just don't serve them any tea, because then they will want to stay. And you can serve your thoughts tea by trying to ignore them. So we don't ignore the monkey mind. We also don't cling to it either. We let it be. Just like you're allowing the color of the wall in front of you or behind you to be that color. You're not like, why isn't that red? Well, maybe you are. But right now, the table or whatever color that's happening, you're just like, oh, it's okay, that's the color. You're not like, this shouldn't be that color, and it's just frustrating. How do we ignore that that's not that color? You just let it be. Same thing with the mind. I don't know if that's a good analogy. But I hope that helps. Don't ignore your thoughts. Don't push them away, but don't cling to them either. Allow everything to arise. And leave it alone. What sees this arising? What notices it? That's the question. All right. CGP, next question. CGP Gray's video, You Are Too, has been making me think about the concept of finding the observer, the listener. Okay? Like, is the whole practice of trying to find the observer just the left brain trying to get to the right brain, or is it more spiritual than that? How is this question going to help you? I'm not trying to be rude, and I hope you understand, but how is this question going to help your practice? Let's say I gave you an answer and said, yeah, well, it is actually the left brain trying to figure out what the right brain is. How does that make you clear? Have you figured out anything from that? This is a question for thinking, for concepts. Now, I'm a philosophy guy. I have a degree in philosophy. So I like thinking too. But with practice and meditation, there's no need to wonder about what the nature of the universe is or what the energy of before the Big Bang, who are you, blah, blah, blah. No, forget all that. That's philosophy, it's thinking. I'm not going to give you more things to think about. That's really not my job. My job is to let go of thinking. Leave it alone. Just leave it alone. We know there's a brain, right? But by no direct experience can you know that you have a brain. We had to learn that in a book. And knowing that doesn't help you really, well, actually it can, now that I say it, it can help you understand like moods and stuff. But the direct perception of experience isn't changed by knowing that there's a brain. Your thinking about it changes. But meditation is about now. And we leave all thinking alone. Good, bad, happy, sad, sexy, ugly, all of it. Next question. Last question. All right, Nathan, thank you for your meditations and for showing up here every day for us all. The pleasure is all mine. Question, when you are asking things like what is looking, what is it that's watching, I get confused. Good. I don't know. I don't sense anything. I can't seem to separate the watcher and the experiences. Very good. It's too overwhelming. Oh, okay. Usually a lot of physical pain arises and it makes it even more difficult. Any advice would be appreciated. Yeah. Wow. Well, what's really great about this is the first part of what you're saying here is actually extraordinarily amazing insight. It's really great. You're right. Let's start here. You ask, what am I? Maybe we were practicing and we have our breath with, our attention with breathing. Yes, very good. And then we're leaving thoughts come and go. Great. But then we go really quick, just a little turn. What is here? What sees this? What breathes? And you turn it back. Nothing there. Now, a lot of people will see this, and maybe this is where you're coming from. People will see this or can go, no big deal. That's it. Or they'll say, this is uncomfortable. Or they'll just find no value in it. And that's it. That's the answer. Really no answer. But you look, there's nothing there. So who is it that's troubled? Who is it that dies? Who is it that sits here? Who wants to be free? Is that one even there? It's the place we operate from all the time. And we even feel to be there. We feel to be kind of behind our eyes and in between our ears, kind of this homunculus controlling this body. We have a body. What has a body? You say you can't seem to separate the experiencer from the experience. Exactly. Two. Is there two? This is what they call non-dual awareness. Awareness itself isn't dual. Call it awareness, call it God, call it Buddha, call it you. Don't even call it a thing. That isn't two. Thinking is dual. Thinking makes two. Experience and experiencer. When you look for the experiencer, what's doing the looking? Experience, experiencer. See? It says William is what is his name? Not William James. I think his name's Blake. William Blake. A fool who persists in his folly becomes wise. And this question, what am I, is that. You think you're real. You think you're an entity with has a body. Go find it. Go find it. Persist in that illusion. Okay, well, who are you? Find it. Now you say that you get this gives you physical pain. I'm not sure if that has to do with how you're sitting. I don't know how physical pain happens. Maybe a frustration that can come about if you're doing a lot of forcing, which can be very uncomfortable. So you can see this, but you can be very like straining, trying, relax. Don't push so hard. In fact, the moment when you make this courageous look and you see nothing there, and you start to feel uncomfortable or you feel it's too much, overwhelming, step back. Don't push so hard. Don't force anything. You don't want to force things into place. You just want a gentle, natural, easy looking. And if you're forcing your way there, it's uncomfortable. In fact, you might do damage. So just back off a little bit. The moment you see that you're not there, and you just, all of a sudden there's this overwhelming sense of uncomfortableness, you can do two things. You can see that uncomfortableness and just watch it come and let it go. Or you can just kind of back off a little bit. Just come back to breathing, just back off. You don't want to force anything. You don't want to, you don't want to pull the rubber band too tight. Just be easy with yourself. Be kind with your mind. Do it gracefully. Just look. And then it's too much, okay. That's good. That's good for today. But remember, we approach this practice not with strong effort, not with strong straining and tightness, but we approach it with a sense of discovery, a sense of lightness, ease. See, peace, clarity, and happiness aren't the goals of meditation. They're the tools of meditation. We're not trying to become happy. Happiness is the path. And if you're not happy, unhappiness is the path. So just be careful with yourself. Be kind and gentle. Don't push too hard. If you're uncomfortable, back off and try again. Okay. Well, I hope that was useful. It is a little different than usual. I think that's all the questions. It is. So thank you everyone for showing up for the first question and answer video. This has been kind of fun doing this. It's a little different. And let me know if you like this. And if you want me to go back to the other way, let me know. We'll figure it out. And of course, if any of these questions or the answers that I gave you were inadequate, or you feel that you didn't get what you wanted out of it, just let me know in the comments, and maybe I can text you something, or what is it called? Comment back to you in some way. So thank you for showing up today, y'all. And I'll see you tomorrow, of course, because I post a video, a daily guided meditation video. So if you're interested, join me. All right. See you tomorrow.